Welcome to the Five and Dime on Where There's a Will.
There's a play.
I'm Ian, your mid-complexity casual gamer,
I'm Stacey. I am your non-gamer gamer.
and we are here today to give you our 2024 Five and Dime for our new to us expansions. I played 24 different new expansions this year.
I played 11.
Um, and I will say there's a few sitting on my shelf that I will guarantee would be on this list if I had gotten them to the table. But so just a little caveat to the expansion. These are not all full game expansions. These are not like full box expansions. These could be full box expansions. They could be expansions that just gave us a couple of cards. It could be things that just gave us some extra scoring. They could be some things that came in the game itself, especially if it was a Kickstarter and had some expansions in it. It could be map packs for games. So this is just anything that expanded the base game beyond what the base game was. It does not have to be a big box expansion. So let's move on and let's get going to the five and nine. All right, my number 10 is a game for one of my favorite games, and that is Parks, and that was Parks Wildlife. Parks Wildlife gives you some new cards, which give you some new abilities, some new scoring in it, and it also gives you this really interesting mechanic where it has like this buffalo, I believe it was, across the top. The bison across the top, the bison across the top, and it had a stampede mode where it like wiped out cards and it moved across. We haven't played it for a while, so I don't remember exactly. I just remember I thought that was a really interesting mechanic, and that is Parks Wildlife. Moving on to my number 9. My number 9 is really just a ton of new cards that help me play one of my favorite games in many more ways, and that is really just the Rolling Realms promo packs that came out this year. I actually still have not gotten across the Realmiverse to the table yet, or the new solo mode in Rolling Realms Redux. But really, this is just encompassing all of the promo packs that came out for Rolling Realms this year. If you follow the channel, you know I have done a tutorial for every single realm in Rolling Realms that have come out. I think that's like 72 of them or something at this point. And just every little promo pack is really cool because it adds a different card that you can play, and each one just kind of mirrors a game a little bit, and they're just really fun. Just the puzzle, trying to figure out how to use them and the best way to put things on them. So that was my number 9, and that is just the Rolling Realms promo packs that came out this year. There were quite a few of them. My number 8 is the Race of the Raft Kickstarter pack. So we learned Race of the Raft last year. Got the Kickstarter pack earlier this year. it adds a it adds a couple new islands which are weirdly shaped. They're not just rectangles and squares. It adds a couple other things you need to do, like collecting some different things. Really enjoyed it. Actually did a live stream of it earlier this year. If you want to check that out, you can see what the promo packs are. So that is, or the Kickstarter pack is. So that is the Race to the Raft Kickstarter pack. It just added some extra variability to the game. My number 7 is a game that we learned. I don't know if we learned this game this year or if we learned it last year, and then we got the expansions both to the table this year, and that is Canvas Reflections. I really like this game. I like the board in this one that it gives you 2 rows of cards to choose from. I love the extra. I believe this one added an extra ribbon color, and yes, the reflections part of it is a little tough. The one thing I like about this, and we'll probably always play with the board, is those 2 rows of the board that came with it, and so you have 2 rows to choose from. And you get some more of your paint palette things in order to kind of skip through, but you do have to put them in both columns or in both rows in a column. The reflections part can get a little confusing. So on the reflections cards, you can play them either way, but it's the different colors. So if it's like, I don't remember the order of the colors, but if it's like red and green, you flip it over, all of a sudden it's yellow and blue. It's the same symbols and stuff, but I do enjoy it. I thought it was a very interesting way to expand a game like Canvas. So I did like that one. That was my number 7, Canvas Reflections. And my number 6 comes to us from Thunderworks Games, and that is Role Player Monsters and Minions. I really like Role Player. It is one of my, I mean, definitely in my top 50. I don't know. I haven't done an actual ranking. I really like game. It's a pretty quick playing game. If you don't know what Role Player is, basically you're rolling dice and creating a Dungeons and Dragon type character that has different alignment and different abilities. There's different ability things, and you're getting weapons and different things. The monsters and minions allows you to actually use that character to battle some sort of monster, and you're trying to get information on that monster as you go, and the minions are trying to stop you as you go. So that was a good one. I really enjoyed that one. It just added a little bit more, gave you something to do with the character that you were creating in Role Player, and that is Role Player Monsters and Minions. And now on to our top 5, starting with Stacey.
My number 5 is the Welcome to series,
Mm,
where it's a roll and write game, and so it gives you different packs to use for your roll and write. So you've got Easter, you've got Halloween, you've got Christmas, and each one has a different theme for your roll and write. But
yeah.
you still have to get your numbers. It's still the same. We're getting your numbers in order, but I do like the Halloween one, and I do like the Christmas one. So all of those expansions I prefer the original, but those expansions are still really fun.
Yeah, the maps just add a little bit different. The game is the same, other than you have a little bit like I actually just got done playing the Winter Wonderland one on BGA, and basically what it is instead of just getting your numbers in numeric order, you want to get them actually in sequential order, so you don't want any gaps, and so you connect lights and you get some extra points. The Halloween one, you are trying to
Jack-o'-lanterns.
jack lanterns or candy or something. The spring one, you have
Easter eggs and bunnies.
Easter eggs and bunnies. The summer one, you have ice cream that you're delivering one way or the other. Then there's a doomsday one and a nuclear. I don't know.
Oh.
Those were our least favorite of
I
it.
don't remember those ones.
Yeah, it's because we didn't care for them. And then what they do is they add your third scoring card is actually specific to that thing. So it is nice. There is a different little score to them. Welcome to those. Those are really good. They just missed my list. But those are some really good ones. I do like when you can get a game like that and you can get some different maps and like you're playing exactly the same except for there's just a little bit different.
Just a little bit of rule change.
So that's good. I like that one. Okay, my number 5 is Isle of Cats, Kittens, and Beast. And this one could possibly move up. This one was, I really like this. I only played the Kittens and I only played the Beast. I've not played there's a third module in there. This is one of my favorite, Isle of Cats is one of my favorite polyomino games. I believe last summer when I did a 5 and dime for titling, I think it was number 2, but it was really 1A and 1B with another game. And Kittens and Beasts made me play the game differently. I play it solo only, and the Beasts one especially. The Kittens just add some little kittens things that you can get. The Beasts you have to get early in the game. So I've developed a strategy for solo play where I actually don't get a lot of cats early until I know what the sister AI is scoring the most on. So I try and load up on cards. The Beasts module, because you have to get that module right away, I believe it was, or you have to get that beast early, made me play completely differently because I had to start collecting that right away in round 1 and start collecting stuff. So I really enjoyed both those modules. I've not played the third one. I don't remember what it is. I think it's some sort of tasks or something. But Isle of Cats, Kittens, and Beasts, I'm very excited to get that to the table more. I actually got the big 2-minute big boxes I have to get put together because it will help me get that game to the table more because it makes it quicker. All right, and moving on to Stacey's number 4. Her iPad just shut off on her, so she had to log on.
It out.
So Stacey's number 4.
I do know that my number 4 was Beacon Patrol
Ships and Shores.
This one adds other boats that you can use, and it also adds in the little like a dune buggy looking thing that will go over water and land.
The hovercraft.
The hovercraft, so that you can scoot over. You can hover over the land and the water. Um, this is a fun little addition to this game. I don't know.
I taught Stacey this game earlier this year. Before this year, it was a solo only game for me, and it was new to her this year. And then we got the expansion. Yeah, that's a good expansion. Um, you might be hearing about that one later.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Slow her down. I can't get my list to come back up.
okay. My number 4 is an expansion for a game from one of my favorite companies, and that is Gears of Corruption for Expeditions from Stonemaier Games. Um, Gears of Corruption fixes a few things. Another game I play only solo. Gears of Corruption fixes a few things that I do believe it fixes. You gotta go down to the actual results. Yep. Is that your results?
Yeah, that's my results.
Okay. Sorry, we're just reading off of Pub Meeple here, and her iPad shut down on her. So Gears of Corruption gives you a hero worker, so it gives you a worker right away at the beginning of the game, so it doesn't force you to try and get some workers right away. It also gives you some of the guile and some of the power, I believe the two things are. If I remember correctly, which I really really like, and it allows you to play a little quicker. This would probably be higher on my list if I played this game multiplayer, but the corruption mech in a solo game I found very easy to avoid, and that's why it kind of fell down to number 4 for me. It There's a corruption mech in it, and I think in a multiplayer game, when you have more mechs out there and it has less places to move, it's going to come into play. I found it very easy to avoid it, and I actually, in the couple games I played with this, I did not interact with it very much, so that's why it kind of fell down. But simply the new mechs and the hero worker and the starting with some power and guile. Well, and honestly, the dual layer player boards is another bonus that we got in this that was not in the base game, so they changed it to dual layer games. And then oh yeah, then the changed corruption tiles. Those things did allow it to move up. He said if the corrupted mech part of it came into play more when I played solo, I think this could probably jump up to number 2 on my list. But as it is number 4, and that is Expedition Gears of Corruption. We on to Stacey's number 3.
My number 3 is Canvas Finishing Touches Deluxe Edition. With finishing touches, you have a picture in a frame that you've made, and then you can earn that frame, which gives you bonus points towards the end. I haven't played it in a while, but I know that someone can steal it from you if they
have more of that. So each frame, each frame had a different like thing. Like if it was the color or the shades or whatever it was, and if someone had more, they could steal
it away from you. Yeah. But I like Canvas anyway, most of them. And so this one was my number 3 with the finishing touches.
That one didn't make my list. Obviously, Reflections made it over that. The only reason is I felt in a 2-player game the frames didn't. The frames are pretty easy for one person to get 2 of them and the other person to get 2 of them, and there wasn't a whole lot of stealing. I guess we could try to steal more, but we only played it a few times. It is a good experience. It just barely. It was in my top 15. It just barely missed out.
I only played 11, so I'm kind of short on what I can pick.
All right, moving on to my number 3. My number 3 is one that Stacey has already mentioned, and that is Beacon Patrol Ships and Shores. Like Stacey said, first of all, this game became one of my favorite tile laying games. It started Stacey this year, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more at 2 players because we could work in multiple areas in the map, which made it a lot of fun. The Ships and Shores expansion, giving you the asymmetric boat powers and giving you different tiles that did different things, and some of the tiles from the base game, like the windmill tiles and the dock, the boat dock, the pier tiles, those then went specifically to a different boat. So when you're playing the game, you play with all the base tiles, And then depending on what boat you use, and the boats from the base game, they've now named those, and that has an ability. So one person can play with that, and then someone else plays with the other ones if you're playing with the expansion. Um, and then you put in tiles depending on which ones are. I mean, the submarine with the sunken ships had a really cool
Mm.
mechanic to it. The hovercraft, where like Stacey, where you can go over land, so you can make lakes and you can get into a lake, and the lakes score. Just that that asymmetry with your boat powers and allowing you to do some different things really did elevate what was already a really great tile laying game to just something just a little bit better. And that was Ships and Shores by Beacon Control. It's a great expansion. Love it. And moving on to Stacy's number two.
Number two is on my bucket list of places that I'd like to go and visit, and that is Let's Go to Japan Day Trip. With Let's Go to Japan Day Trip, it adds in another day, so I believe it adds in Sunday.
It
Um,
adds in Sunday, but then the token can go anywhere
yeah,
for
but
which day. Yeah,
token,
yeah.
yeah. But it adds in an extra day so that you can more points on an extra day, and you have a passport that you can move around with. And I need to play it again so that I
Yeah.
can remember
So
exactly what it's
so
for.
the day trip has an extra day, and it gives you one single card that you put on that day that scores some things.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on basically what it is, you're taking a day trip around either Tokyo or Kyoto to an outlying city that's near them, and then the passport gives you some sort of you're a certain type of traveler, and you get to and it gives you some extra little abilities. Like you might start the game with some extra things, or you might get something at some point. But yeah, so good. I like that. I mean, great game. I have a feeling that's going to be on both of our games of 2024, honestly. And yeah, let's go to Japan, day trip, and passport. Very nice. My number two is one of our favorite games. In fact, we've played it twice over the last week, and probably going to get it a couple more times before the end of the year. And that is Cascadia
Mm.
Landmarks. Cascadia, first of all, is one of our favorite tile laying games. Um, Landmarks adds in some really nice extra things. It adds in some new starter tiles. It adds in some tiles that have 3 habitats on them, or has tiles that have one habitat on 4 sides and one habitat on 2 sides. So just some different habitat tiles. The one thing I really like about that is you can just mix those into the base game. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you're not playing with the landmarks part of things, which I haven't talked about yet, you can just play with those. We played that and several of those came up. Really love that. And then it adds some asymmetric scoring. So in the base game, everybody's scoring the exact same way. But with the landmarks, you are there's 5 different landmarks, one for each habitat type. And then there's a little standee a little meeple, of the thing that goes on your tiles. And when you claim it, you get a scoring card. Only you score that. The
Mm.
one thing about it is when you take that, your board gets a little tighter because you are filling an extra space on your board. I really like Cascadia Landmarks. I think it adds just a nice level to the game, and that asymmetric scoring, and that it does make it a little tighter, but I do really like it because you don't have to take the landmarks, but you can. That was my number two, Cascadia Landmarks.
And my number one for the year so far, well, it is like with 20, it's the end of the year pretty
Yeah,
much, is River Valley Glassworks, River Glass, and Other Sundries. With this expansion, it just adds a couple cards in
yeah.
um, that you can get different color bonuses, other colors that you have to get, or shapes that you can get with bonuses. It just adds a little bit to the game, but it adds a lot to the game for scoring and other things like that. So that's one of my favorite games anyway. So River Valley Glassworks, River Glass, and Other Sundries is my number one pick for expansions.
Another good one. Basically, what it is, it's a little box of cards. There's 6 different modules in it. You can play with one or two in it, and it just adds a little asymmetric scoring. Once again, kind of like Landmarks did. Um, it like you draw, like maybe you're playing with one, and oh look, for every glass type of this color you're looking for, you get extra opponents. points, and each person has a different color or shape. Or there's some other ones which we haven't dove into. There's 6 different ones. They're different levels but that is a good one. That's another one that just missed. It was in my top 15, but it just missed my top 10. I do like that. I do like that one as well. And moving on to my number one. My number one is another game that I play exclusively solo. Um, but this made the solo experience better, and that is Everdell Mistwood. Um, I actually did a video earlier in the year called The Tale of the Tape where I compared Everdell solo to Everdell Mistwood solo. The Everdell Mistwood solo, I will never say an expansion is necessary, or I can't remember what the word is people use when they say, "Oh, this you need this expansion." I will say that for solo play, the Nightweave character is a better solo opponent than Rugwort simply because it acts more like an actual player. Um, with the base game, Rugwort can break the rules. He can have as many cards as he wants. He doesn't have to keep to the 3x5 grid and 15 cards. And he does all sorts he scores stuff that you can't get, which makes it really tough because if the right cards don't come up in a solo game, you're screwed because he's going to score all these bonuses just because the right cards didn't come up for you in this big deck of cards. With Nightweave, she has to stick to the 3x5 grid. She can only have 15 in her city. She sends out minis. She still blocks stuff and she takes stuff, but she has to have a certain number of things in order to get the different events, the basic events or the special events. She doesn't just score them if you don't get them. She has to actually earn the special events. She has to earn the basic events. So I will never play Everdell without the Mistwood expansion again because it just makes me feel like I'm playing an actual opponent. And I've got to the place where in my solo gaming, if I'm playing a game like Everdell that is that big, and takes a little bit of setup like that, I want an opponent that feels like I'm playing against someone and not just, oh, they're doing their own thing. It doesn't act like an actual opponent. Um, she actually scores. So she scores like Rugwort does score as well, but like I said, Rugwort scores stuff based on what you don't do. Like if you don't get a special event, he scores that special event. He doesn't have to earn it. He just gets it. So that is my number one, Everdell Mistwood. And there is our five and dime for our top new to us expansions for 2024. We had quite a few expansions, a lot of really fun ones. Stacey had some really good ones on her list that I enjoy as well. It just didn't quite make my list. Did you have any surprises on your list that either made your top five or didn't make your top five?
Food fighters. I'm surprised that wasn't in my top five with the salty and sweet expansion.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do like a good food fighters.
yeah.
And I
Just
like
it adds some new factions, so they
yeah.
each have new abilities. So yeah.
I like the little stickers you can put on them so that you can actually change
Mm-hmm. Yep.
who
Yep.
they're going against.
Yep.
But
And it doesn't just add factions. Each faction in the game, Food Fighters, has like 3 ability cards, so it does give you some different playability, different things.
but that's probably it. Um, Canvas Reflections was last. That was a shocker.
Oh, I was surprised on your list that Cascadia Landmarks didn't make it. I knew it wasn't your favorite, but I was surprised that
That
it
was
did
number
not.
7.
I am surprised it did not make your top
I
five.
like the
And
original.
that welcome to was on there, so we'll have to get that to the table more.
I like Welcome to.
Yeah.
I didn't when we first played it. I did not like Welcome to because I didn't understand rolling rights. But then we played Fleet, the dice game, and that's a rolling right, and I did good with that one. So I was like, well, I'm going to go back and try Welcome to and see if I understand that one better. And now that I understand what the heck a rolling right is, I like it.
Yeah. So, yep.
I'm easily influenced.
Any surprise? Let's see. Surprises on my list.
Nope.
I don't.
Well, Everdell, I don't know anything you were talking about with that
Right, right.
game.
It's a solo only.
Yeah. Mm,
But I did have two multiplayer in the top three. So that one's
yeah.
a lot of multiplayer. So it was about 50-50 multiplayer and solo,
Yeah.
which is good.
I'm
Um,
surprised River Valley Glassworks was so low.
yeah, it missing out. Couple others, like Let's Go Japan. I don't know. I think when I was reading it, I was just like, did it add enough to the base game where I felt it was better than what another thing added?
Hmm.
I am surprised. I think my 11 through like 16, 17 could be in different orders possibly.
Yeah.
And a couple of those could have snuck in. Parks Wildlife I think was a surprise that it actually snuck into my top 10 just because we haven't played it for a while and I couldn't remember everything about it. But yeah, had a couple other expansion collections for some Button Shy games on here that definitely I thought were gonna maybe make it in and didn't.
Hmm.
Like Unsurmountable. Rove, I will say Rove. If I had played more of the expansions, I've only played one of the modules. I think Rove would have definitely made it in there, but I've only played one of the modules. So I was like, I can't really rank one module over everything. I have both expansion collections for it. Unsurmountable almost made it. I've played I don't think I'd played all of them when I ranked it. Maybe I had. But yeah. So we got a lot of really good expansions. So that was our 5 and 9. Some surprises we had, some surprises we didn't have, I guess. Some surprises we didn't have. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
This is the first of many end of year videos that will be coming out within the next month. We will have several 5 and Dimes coming up, including a new to us games that came out before 2024 next week. And then we'll take 1 week off from our end of the year because we do have our December month in review, 5 and Dime. And then our big one after that will be, I believe it's the one after that, is our 5 and Dime for our top games that came out in 2024. And we played quite a few 2024 games. And then we're going to do kind of a fun one where we are going to do our favorite covers of 2024 games of games we own. So there's going to be it's going to be games we own in 2024. I mean, and it may be games that we haven't actually played yet, but we're going to look at the covers of all the games that came out in 24, and we're going to rank them. And then I have a couple of solo ones. Next Tuesday, I'm going to do a end of the year board game arena ranking. Just the top 10 games I played, and then like the top 10 games I actually played the most, and then rank my top 10 favorite games I played. And I might do a top 10 solo, um, but we're not sure. I'm not sure. And I thought there was one more I had playing, but I don't remember off the top of my head. So, and then next
Wednesday with the
Wednesday with the
Wilsons.
Wills is live stream. It is January 1st. And what do people do in the new year?
Make
They make
resolutions.
resolutions, which
Break
are a little
resolutions.
bit risky sometimes.
Press their luck with
They
their
press their luck. Yeah, maybe
resolutions.
not risky, but they definitely press your luck. So we're gonna be pressing our luck with a few games. We usually do our Wednesdays with the Willses at 5:30 Mountain Time, but we're gonna start a little early because Stacey's gonna be off, and I won't be coming home from work because I
I'm
still
always off, but
yeah. And so we're gonna have that starting a little early, probably about an hour earlier, because we would like to get like 3 games in that we have planned. They are gonna be all push your luck games, and we'll get that posted here soon so you can see what we're gonna be playing. Can tell you one of them is a 2024 game, and that is what, honey? What's your favorite one that we're playing? Oh, come on.
umbrella.
That's not push your luck. Makes a really awful sound when a cat. Yeah, so Mlem is going to be in our list, and then
You can't just throw stuff at me like that. I
I
gotta
thought you
think
knew. I
about
sorry, I
it.
thought you knew what we were playing. I
I
thought you.
did, but I gotta think about things
Yeah. Okay.
sometimes.
Sorry.
I'm a slow thinker.
Oh yeah, you guys like my new shirt? Stacy got it for me for Christmas. I really like it. It's really cool. And then we're going to be playing Dive, which we have to learn this weekend probably, so we know how to play it. It was listed on Dice Tower recently did a top 10 push your luck games, and we watched it and went, because we've learned that push your luck is something we really enjoy. And um, it was the one that intrigued us the most. And then I think we're going to do Trash Pandas as our third one. Because it's a pretty quick playing game. So we're gonna play those three and see what
if we
time.
have time.
See what time we have. If you played any of these expansions, let us know down below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. It means so much. And if you have any expansion suggestions for us, or what are your favorite expansions you played in 2024? Does not have to be 2024 releases. Does not have to be full box expansions. Let us know down in the comments. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button up above. And if you want to see the rest of our 5 and Dimes, you can follow that link. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey.
And we'll see you next time.
At the table.